Bueno, vamos a iniciar antes de la tertulia del día de hoy con esta historia de amigos que nos visitan el día de hoy. Vienen desde Nueva Zelanda, llevan 70.000 kilómetros viajando, conociendo el mundo. Y los invito para que todos ustedes, a que los que manejan las redes sociales como el Facebook, hagan esa página, Classic Strider. Ahí ellos han montado a donde visitan y donde siguen visitando en esta aventura que comenzó hace 2 años. Entonces, Fred, thank you very much for being here with us. You are always welcome. So this is your today. But we need to start right now with you because at 6 p.m. we have another presentation. So
it's okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Or? No, that's needs a bit more. Can you turn it up a bit, or? Can you turn it up, please? Okay. Hola. Buenas tardes. Soy Elizabeth e Fred Smith de Nueva Zelanda. E son en tour de la monde e la presentazione per ustedes. Elizabeth?
Hola. If you want, yeah, but I think it's there. It's already said there. When Fred had to go from Nova Zelanda to Australia, he bought a magazine, like classic sports cars from England, what had 101 things to do with your old car as a bucket list. And two things was one to drive from coast to coast in the USA, and one is taking a photo in front of the White House. Next one. So this is what they said, what you have to do from coast to coast in USA. This is also our car. This is Abel. We call it Abel from Abel Tasman, who was the founder from New Zealand and is from the Netherlands. New Zealand.
We had the car since 2003. Mercedes Benz has been around for many years building cars, as you know. The Pontons, which is a car like we've got, was the first series of Mercedes Benz after the Second World War. They built them between 53 and 62. They built about 600,000 of them, of which 55,000 220S's like there. This is the Mercedes-Benz factory in Stuttgart. You see, there's lots of cars they built there. Sound doesn't work. It's on German anyway. Before we left, we worked 2 years on the car. It started on the 12th of June in 2012 and finished on the 23rd of May 2014. It was a lot of work. What we did was we cleaned, repaired, and repainted part of the body. We completely rebuilt all the mechanical parts. So all the bearings, all the bushes, all the springs, all the wiring have been completely rebuilt, including the engine. And we improved the car for today's requirement on the road. So we made additional lights, hazard warning lights, just to make the car safer to drive on the modern roads. Here we are cleaning the car. This thing doesn't work. Here Elizabeth is cleaning the engine bay after the engine is out. And just the two of us working hard on the day. Our son is a spray painter and he spray painted the car. Complete mechanical overhaul. We had some really good advice from friends who's been driving these cars for years. And this man here, this man here has been driving one of these cars around the world in 2001 in 80 days. So they drove every day. Kevin Clemens is his name. So here I'm working on the heater boxes. Elizabeth is working on the bumpers here. The engine, when we drove the car, we thought the engine was in a very good condition. We just took it to a mechanic to have a look at it. Well, we completely rebuilt it. Spent an enormous amount of money on it. Every part we ordered from Germany was checked before it was put in. It's basically a new car. This here is our trailer. This is our house, our casa. It's got a fridge. It's got a cocina here. And it's a very versatile trailer. This is how it actually folds out. It takes about 2 minutes to set up the trailer, which is very nice when it rains a lot. This is very clever trailer. This is the route we try to drive. So this is New Zealand. In 2014, we shipped the trailer from Wellington to Los Angeles. We spent 1 year in the United States and Canada. Then the next year in Mexico and Central America. And about 2 months ago, we shipped the car from Veracruz, Cartagena. Then we're going down, looking in January, February next year to be in Terra del Fuego, Brazil, and then shipping to South Africa, about 6 months in South Africa, 3 years in Europe before we go back to New Zealand, spending another year in Australia. That's the plan. It may be longer, it may be shorter, it will be different. So this was the car and the trailer in just before we left. We had originally yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Because our car's got the right-hand steering wheel, and Nicaragua and Costa Rica do not allow cars with right-hand steering wheel to drive in our country. So that's why we had to go back to Mexico and ship it from there. So here we push the trailer and the car in a container, a 40-foot container. There it is. And it was shipped to Los Angeles. On the 3rd of August, we said goodbye to our whole family, 3 children and four grandchildren. See, I got that wrong, 4 grandchildren. And the 5th is on the way. Here we arrived in Los Angeles. The first part, we traveled from Los Angeles to Pebble Beach, Monterey. There's the Pebble Beach concourse. I'm sure you all heard about it. It's a fantastic experience to be there. That's what it is. There are thousands of people. And very, very pretty cars. If your car is not worth about 500,000 US dollars, just don't turn up. 500,000 US. Yeah. No, that's what the car. Yeah. If the value of your car is less than $500,000 US dollars, just don't bring your car. You know, these are all cars more than $500,000. Mercedes Benz had flown these three racing cars from 1914, particularly to this event. This car in 1914 won the Grand Prix of France. While we were at the Pebble Beach, we were approached by the editor of the Star, the big American Mercedes Benz magazine, whether we would like to do a story with him. Sorry. So this was the first article. Today we've got 14 articles in major magazines, 13 newspaper articles, 5 web pages, 2 radio interviews, and 5 television interviews, which includes the one we did yesterday morning. I don't know whether you've seen us on television yesterday, but we were. So we wrote one article for the Star last year, and we won a silver award from an international competition. We're very proud of it. From Monterey, we drove to Reno. In Reno is the National Automobile Museum, which is a fantastic museum. If you ever have the chance, go to that museum. The car we really came to see was the Thomas Flyer, which in 1908 did the same like we drove around the world in 8 months. This is the route they took, New York to San Francisco. They then went to Alaska, couldn't get away, so they went back to Seattle, Japan, and all the way through Siberia to Paris. And the Thomas Flyer won that race. And this is the car, the way it came out of the rally in Paris. It's restored to its original condition. You want to? No. From Reno, we went to Bonneville. I don't know whether you know Bonneville. That's the great salt flats where all the world speed records are being done. World speed records. Fast. Yeah, exactly. Have you seen the film The Fastest Indian? Yeah, exactly. A friend of ours, the Kevin Clemens, who came to look at our car in New Zealand, is the same car he developed in the US. It's electrical motorbike. So we were the pit crew for his race. This is the outfit he brought. Oh, sorry. The salt was really bad that year. Lots of water, as you can see. We had to drive the cars through the salt water to get to the actual speed tracks. And this is how we were setting up our little workshop, getting ready for testing. And here they actually ready for the race. They got a speed record of 68 miles per hour. Last month he was back again and he went to 130 miles per hour with the same bike. Then we drove to the Central Plateau in the US. We drove over the Monarch Pass, 3,500 meters, which is the highest pass we've done to date. This is the 4 corners where the Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado come together. It's very, very pretty land. This is where the 4 states actually come together. And you have to stand on all 4 states together if you can. We couldn't do that, so we did it this way. So now we're all on 4 states. Then we drove from here to Las Vegas, again going to the famous parks in the US. The Arches National Park is really pretty. Bryce Canyon, Grand Canyon, and then we went to Las Vegas. You want to talk about Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas, all our children came from New Zealand and Australia for our 40th wedding anniversary, and we remarried with Elvis. Las Vegas. Sí. Married by Elvis. Sí.
Okay, from Las Vegas, we drove through Tucson, mainly following Route 66, the famous route in the US. This is one of those famous diners they have along the route. It's real, very American 1950s. Okay, start us. From here, we drove to Jackson, and we were driving along the Natchez Trail, which is a very old Indian trail, and we heard some noise in the rear axle. And we took it to a local garage, and we had a serious problem. The crown wheel from the differential, and we lost 2 teeth there, so we had to rebuild build that. We had our Christmas in New Orleans, all by ourselves. Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad. Then from New Orleans, we went to Daytona. Daytona, of course, is very famous for the 24 hours races there. This is just before the start. This car here is from Scott Dixon. You may have heard of him. He's a New Zealand race car driver, and he's extremely successful. He's got many records in the US on his name. Of the 24 hours of the race, we only slept 4 hours. We were watching the race all the time. It was so exciting. This is in the middle of the night, and the sun is rising again on the racetrack. It was very exciting. The 2 contenders were Dixon and Taylor, and there's still 48 minutes to go, and there's only 1 second between the 2 of them. And Scott Dixon won it with 0.3 of a second. 24 hours. It was very exciting for us as New Zealanders. Up to Daytona Beach Camping, we stayed 4 weeks to do a lot of work on the car. We had a major problem with the evaporation of the gasolina in the carburetors, and we needed to fix that. So what we did, we took off the manifolds and had that coated with one of those thermal coatings by jet hot. We disabled the hotspot. We put heat shields in, and we made a return fuel line. So this is where the car is, slowly taking it to pieces. Here's the manifold off. So here's the manifold off. A friend helped us with some gaskets. Then after 3 weeks, we got a box with the manifold back from Oklahoma. Elizabeth very happy with the intake manifolds. I'm happy with the exhaust manifold. We're running the return fuel line here. And it's all working fine from then onwards. Yeah, there's both of them. From Daytona, which here we drove to Amelia Island. That's also Concours d'Elegance in the US. In March, you probably know Sir Sterling was here. He was very interested in our tour and he signed our cards. We had a place in front of the Mercedes Benz stand. And there was the 722, of course, the most famous Mercedes Benz car ever made. It's in which car that Sterling Moss rode a Mille at an average speed of 180 miles per hour. 118. Elizabeth had to check it out. And of course, here is Sterling Moss walking past. It was a fantastic experience. We drove from Amelia Island to Washington. We had to make those pictures in front of the White House. Yes, at 7 o'clock in Easter Sunday. We were the only ones in Washington. He was not interested in us. Of course, you have to go to New York. So here we are on Times Square. We are on top of the Rockefeller building with the Empire State Building in the back. And then in the middle of the night, from the Empire State Building, we look all over New York. It's fantastic. We drove to Minnesota, where Kevin Clemens lived, the one we talked about before. But we stopped in Detroit to have a look at the Piquet plant. The Piquet plant was built in 1903 by Ford to build his cars. And this is where the first million Model Ts were built. The first million cars, Model Ts, were built here. See? Yeah. And then they moved to a new plant where they did the fully automatic ones. It's very special if you look at all how they used to build those cars. These were all done by hand. They had no automated systems yet. This part here, that was a separate part. That is where Henry Ford designed the Model T. It was all secret and it's quite special. These were the drawing boards they worked from in those days. It's all original. Yeah. This is the very first engine block of the Model T. It's very special. They also had a Mercedes Benz and a Zambesi trailer, as you can see. This is 1918. Yeah. In Auburn, we stopped in the Auburn Court Duesenberg Museum. That's where all those beautiful cars from the early 1930s were built. It's just stunning. When you're there, it is absolutely stunning. Some of these cars are just beautiful. Look at this car. Oh, sorry. Or this.
To the Indy 500 for the race Indy 500. and we camped there as well. And there's so many people. What was it? 3 million?
At the time, there were 320,000 people watching the Indy 500. It's actually quite boring. There's just cars going around and round and round and round. There's nothing special about it. But it's one of those things you have to do in your life. So from from Indianapolis, we drove to Vancouver, going through the Rocky Mountains in Canada. This is the Badlands National Park. Of course, this is Mount Rushmore with the 4 presidents. There's plenty of bisons there. This is Devil's Tower from the Close Encounters film. The Canadian Rockies are just fantastic. This is where we saw our first bear. And this is a big bear. They're pretty dangerous. From Vancouver, here we drove down to San Francisco, but it had a serious problem on the way. That was very sad. What happened with the differential broke. I'll tell you what happened. So this is in the garage there. The whole differential 2 pieces. What had happened, the Mercedes Benz got a swing axle, and it's got a universal joint here. And in that universal joint, it's got the cross. And here the cross is completely shattered. And when it broke, one of these pieces lodged itself between the arm here and the casing of the differential. So the whole sail completely collapsed. Nevertheless, in 12 days, we were back on the road again, getting parts from Irvine Mercedes Benz Center in the US. Some of the parts, like the tubes here and the differential casing, we got from a friend in England, Henry Magno. That's where we heard about Lucano going around in her car. So these are all the parts. So this part here is totally replaced. This was replaced, but we had lots of problems with this one. This one I think is still bent, and I'll tell you about that. And then after 1 year of internet courting, Abel met Eva, and here they are. They're good friends. They've been writing one another for many months, and they still do. In Sacramento, Mercedes Benz of Rockling, they fitted this white cover on the car, which you've seen outside. Originally, the car was black, but the white cover was really needed because it got so hot in the car. At some time, it was well over 50 degrees, and it was just so dangerous, so we put it all over the car. From San Francisco to Mexico City, in El Fuerte, which is the northern part of Mexico. We took the train to the Barrancas de Cobre. Oh, enormous. It's enormous.
Sorry. Okay. Okay. On the black part of the car, you can fry an egg. It's so hot, you burn. On the white, it's 10, 15 degrees lower. that makes a difference inside.
Oh, it's about 10, 15 degrees difference. Yeah. And we have no air conditioning, so it's opening the window and the rest hope the temperature stays low. Yeah. So this is the Barrancas de Cobra. We spent to see the Tarahumaras people, indigenous people, who still all live in caves. And Elizabeth met some girls who just put nail polish on, and she had put it on as well. So the three of them had a really good time there. We drove from Mazatlan to Durango over the Max 40D, which is a new road. It's only 4 years old. And it's got the highest suspension bridge in the world. It's 540 meters high, that bridge. Yeah, but this is really high, 550 meters. Oops. We drove past the Tropico of Cancer, and Elizabeth had to stand on right on the line of the Tropico. In Los Angeles, we had put new tires on the car, but you'll see after only 3,000 kilometers, the tires were completely worn out. But while we had the damage in Portland, where the axle broke, we still think that the left arm is slightly bent. We spent a huge amount of left tube, yeah. Yeah, same here. So we spent a lot of money trying to fix it, but it's still not fixed. It's nin kind of solution. So we had to fly 12 new tires in from New Zealand. The tires we need are just not available anywhere in the Americas. We've got them on the car, and we've got 3 spare tires which are tied onto the trailer. Of course, we get a lot of attention, particularly from the police and the army. They stop us very, very often, only to take pictures and sit in the car. See this, man? So this is in Mexico, but it also happens here, as you can see. We were stopped twice already. Just north of Mexico, we went to the pyramids of the soil and the moon. Elizabeth is climbing up the pyramid. She made it. It's quite a climb. Then she went to the moon. Here she is. It's very, very pretty old Mayan. In Mexico, we were invited by the Mercedes Benz club there. Yeah, and they had 6 pontoons like ours. And of course, here is young Abel. This is the management team of Mercedes Benz that included the chief executive and the chairman of the board from Mercedes Benz Mexico. And of course, we had drinks and a very nice lunch there. Then we spent another 6 months in the south of Mexico. We were in a place, Tehuacan, which is just south of Mexico City, and we became the citizens of honor, as they call it. So this is the function. There were hundreds of people there for us. Elizabeth signing all the cards, and there was the local clown who took hold of Elizabeth. I presume most of you people know about the Carrera Panamericana. In 1950, Mexico had finished the road between Guatemala and to the United States. And the Minister of Transport at the time decided to have a race who could go and do that road the fastest. So they had that race for 5 years, and Mercedes Benz was very successful there. They stopped in 1955 because too many people were killed in the race. There was no rules, just get there as fast as you can. Yeah, they still. In 1987, in 1987, a couple of people came together, including Lano Leon, and they restarted the race, but with a lot more rules than they had in the 1950s. We were invited to come to the office, and we became guests of honor for the race. So Elizabeth is registering our car for the race. All dressed up. All the car. The sticker is still there, as you can see. We're very proud of that sticker. And this is the start at 7 o'clock in the morning from Tuxtla Gutiérrez. So this is being counted down. 3, 2, 1, and off we went as the first of the whole race. But we stopped after 2 kilometers because we're not allowed to race. We don't have all the security systems. So we saw all the other cars going past. No, we didn't do the whole race. We have no roll cases. We have no... Gracias. Gracias, yeah. We were invited to participate on the rally from Golfa del Pacifico, which goes from Veracruz to Acapulco. So this is the start of the rally. This is one of the points in Mendoza where all the people welcomed the whole rally. We were almost the last because we were racing against the real racing cars. They did 180 kilometers an hour, and we could do about 95. So we were always late.
This is when we arrived in Acapulco, and we had a support group behind us. Police, ambulance, anything behind us, what you can see with all the lights.
Of course, I have to give a speech. I actually did it in Spanish, I must say. From Mexico, we spent time in Belize, Guatemala, and El Salvador. This is in Guatemala City, Antigua. We went, and this is the management of the Mercedes Benz Club from Guatemala. We're giving a talk to them like we do now. And they had brought about 35 cars out for that function, all Mercedes Benz cars. Modelos, yeah. There was about 2 or 3 Clásicos there. When you're in Guatemala, you have to go and see Tikal, so that's what we did. Very, very impressive. In San Salvador, the Mercedes Benz dealer there organized for us a radio interview, which was 3/4 of an hour. We were on television, and we were on a newspaper. Gorgi just had a copy from that newspaper article, which we never had. So we're very pleased, and thank you very much for that, Gorgi. as we explained before, we were not allowed to drive in Nicaragua, Costa Rica with our car. So we went to Veracruz and we shipped the car across from Veracruz to Cartagena in July last couple of weeks ago. And then here we arrive in Colombia on the 3rd of August, which is about a month ago. You see all the stickers we put on the car? Everywhere we go, we try to get stickers of the place we are. This is our route so far in Colombia. We arrived in Cartagena, went to Santa Marta, Rio Hache. Then we got a four-wheel drive with a group of people and went to Punta Galinas. Then later on we went to Tolu and back to Medellin. So this is Punta Galinas. We went with 6 people and a driver in a Land Cruiser. It's so hot out there and the wind never stopped blowing. It's a fantastic experience. It's one of the best experiences we had so far on our trip. It's just fantastic scenery out there. And of course, there is Punta Gallinas, the most northern part of South America. In about 7 months' time, we try to be here at the most southern part. We had to sleep in hammocks. There's no other accommodation there. So we did it for 2 nights. And then we arrived here in Medellin, of course, Punta de Occidente. And last week we climbed all the way up to El Peñol. Some statistics of our tour. We've been on the road for 767 days today, of which there were 38 in Colombia. We've done 71,000 kilometers total, 1,800 in Canada. These are the These are the countries we have visited. Everybody asks us how much fuel does the car take. Well, this is what it is. We slept in 286 different places, of which 131 on camping grounds. We had some real cold nights and some real warm days. We broke 4 wine glasses and played 1 UPS, and we killed 1 ardilla and 185,221 bugs on the road. We always have arguments about it. Elizabeth never counts really properly. Well, yeah. In spite of being together every day, every night, we have had no arguments at all during the 2 years we've been on the road. This is not one of them. Our plans for the next year, as you can read, we spent another couple of weeks in Colombia. The middle of October, we go to Ecuador, spend 2 weeks in Ecuador. Then we go to Peru, and then to Bolivia. In December, January, we are in Chile, Argentina, Paraguay, and we look at leaving in August 2017 South America. So this was the route again. 2021 we planning to be home, and this is just north of Mechelen with photographs, and these mountains are just fantastic. We just so much love the scenery here in Colombia. We really enjoy our time with you people, and we're very, very appreciative for the welcome we get everywhere. So thank you so much. Any questions? Ja, is goed. Ja, is goed. Iets meer naar het midden. Oké, gracias.
Thank you one more time, Fred, for being here with us. You're an amazing couple. What a wonderful experience. You have friends in Colombia. This is your family one more time. So please, we hope to have you here one more time after this and after you finish this travel. Okay? Thank you very much. Bueno, espero que la próxima experiencia de viaje sea la tuya. Una tertulia de las que has hecho y la que sigue. Para quien no llegó a tiempo,